Today we're here for a human design basic overview. Could be the high rain, or the rain and high wind. So I'm getting that thing to mute. All right, cool. Thanks for joining. My name is Jacqui Mancuso. I am joining you from Northern Illinois, and today we're here to talk about the very basics of human design. So if you have never seen your human design chart, I recommend that before we dive into all of this information, that you access your chart so you can have it in your possession. So this is what a human design chart looks like. Sorry, I'm trying to read your comments to see if my audio's going in and out again. You can access your human design chart all over the internet. My favorite websites, and I can't put the actual website because Insight Timer doesn't, it'll block the chat. So mybodygraph.com and the Jovian Archive. Internet's going slow again. Mel, I'm a newbie. I did my chart, but do not understand it, and that's why we're here today. All right, so today we're going to do it's literally a brief overview. So we'll explain what the human design is. Okay, we'll talk about the 5 energy types, because there's 5 different energy types when it comes to the human design, what they all mean, and the strategy that they all use in order to create their realities. We're going to talk about the energy centers, the 9 different geometric shapes on the human design chart, what they represent. And then if we have time, we can talk about the profile numbers today, those numbers 1 through 6 on your chart that you may or may not know what they represent. So this is going to be like a bare bones basic class. Hello, Christian. Welcome back. So, in general, what is the human design? I took this definition from the Human Design Guide website, so they put it very eloquently. So the human design is a system that describes accurately who you are and helps you navigate in this life as yourself. It helps you with the use of simple tools to realign yourself into your true nature. It helps you to deal with life in a relaxed way and eventually become more aware. The human design system is a synthesis of the ancient observational systems of astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the Hindu Brahman chakras, the Judaic Kabbalah, and the contemporary sciences of quantum mechanics, astronomy, genetics, and biochemistry. The human design is not a belief system. It is a logical, empirical system that you can experiment for yourself and see whether it works for you or not. Eventually, it will help you to live as yourself and see your uniqueness revealed. So what drew me to the human design in the first place was my connection with astrology and the human design. When you look at your human design chart, these boxes that are on the side, and by the way, this is not my chart, this is someone that I know, but along the side here, these are all of the planets. And in human design, there's 64 gates that you can fall into, whereas in astrology, there's 12 houses that you can fall into. So that's why I first got interested in the human design, because I was like, oh, it's like astrology with a little extra oomph to it, right? So you may or may not have heard of the 5 energy types. Technically there's 4 energy types, and one of them overlaps, but we're going to talk about manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. So somewhere in the wording part of your chart, you should see where it says type. So this person is a generator. If you are, we'll start with manifestors. If you are a manifester, you are one of the 9-ish% of humans who are manifestors. Manifestors make up 9% of the population, pretty small percentage. They are the ones who are here to start things. They're the starters, they're the igniters, right? They are here to get the ball rolling. I heard manifestors described as the white ball on the pool table. They are the ones who knock into other people and then get other people to do the work. So manifestors are here to start the ideas and then pass it off to generators, which we'll talk about next. When manifestors honor their design, because in astrology, human design, all of these things, this is all a blueprint, right? So we have these things available to us. It's our free will, it's our choice if we honor our design and act accordingly to our design to use it for our highest benefit, right? So when manifestors are honoring their design, it might look like an idea pops in their head and then they act it out. So very mental space for manifestors. The strategy that benefits manifestors the most in this lifetime is literally just to inform others of what you're about to do before you do it. This is because manifestors have this, they don't have unlimited energy, okay? Manifestors do not have a defined sacral center, which we'll talk about later. Only people who have the word generator in their human design have a constant stream of physical energy, okay? But when manifestors do have energy, when they are excited about something, they have the most energy out of any of the energy types. It's easy for manifestors to get 45 steps ahead of everybody else. So, because manifestors are here to get the ball rolling and then pass it off to others, manifestors need to explain what they're about to do in order just to keep people on track, to keep them in the loop, right? While you're out there bouncing around in your manifestor energy. This isn't about asking for permission. This is saying, hey, I have this idea that I'm going to start doing. Then all the generators around you and reflectors and projectors, they just know your next step. It keeps everyone a little bit balanced. Jacqui says, I'm a manifester. I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about myself or not. I'm a manifester, so that's why I understand manifestors so well. So it's things like letting you guys like, hey, I'm hosting this retreat, and then generators come in and like do the little nitty-gritty details. If I would have just put that retreat out there and not really said anything about it, I could have, promoted it other ways. It wouldn't have been as fruitful. For example, I tried having a Patreon account for a little bit. I didn't talk about it that much and it flopped. Other things that I'm doing, I talk about it. I just let you guys know what I'm doing, and it just keeps the ball rolling, right? Oh, Jacqui, that is a beautiful, beautiful realization. Jacqui, who is a manifester, says, maybe I need to let more people do instead of doing it all myself. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Yes, Jen, so we're going to talk about generators now. So generators and manifesting generators, you guys make up 70% of the population. 70. Huge majority of the people in this world are generators or manifesting generators. I'm going to split you guys up, though, because I like to keep people unique. Generators. Just generators. You guys make up about 37, so a little bit more than half of the whole generator. You guys are the worker bees. You have a consistent flow of energy to do the things. Generators are the people who are doing the work, having the children, running the charities, attending the PTA meetings. You're here to just keep this cycle of energy flowing through the world. We talked about generators having a defined sacral center. So if you look at, these are all the 9 energy centers that we'll get to in a little bit, but the sacral center is, this is hard to do backwards and with the light, the second from the bottom. So if this center on your chart is colored in, it doesn't matter what color, that means that you have a defined sacral center. So that means that you have this constant stream of energy just pouring into your body. Okay, so the energy is always there. However, generators get more energy when you're happy to do the work that you're doing. Generators follow their gut reaction. Their strategy is to wait to respond to the gut feeling. So when generators are honoring their design, they're walking through life following their gut reactions. I've also heard this described as that childlike, like the childlike interest, like, yes, I want to do that. I'm drawn towards that. I am not a generator, so it's hard for me to speak exactly to what that feeling might feel like. But when you get that gut reaction, when you know that this is what I'm supposed to respond to, that is how you use your strategy to your highest good. Wait to respond to the gut feeling. So instead of forcing yourself, like, I know this is good for me and I'm going to do this way, I have to do this job because it makes me the most money, wait to respond to the gut feeling. You know, maybe throw out your application to a bunch of different places, and then when you get that gut feeling looking at a certain place where you want to work, that's what to follow. Respond to that gut feeling that you get. So if 70% of people are generators, about 33% of those people are manifesting generators. Manifesting generators have a defined sacral center, so they do have that constant access to energy. They also have a defined throat center. There are generators. Let me get this back up. I feel like I'm a real teacher again. So the throat center is the third one down. There are generators who have a defined throat center who are not manifesting generators. It has to do with how they are connected to the other energy centers. So all manifesting generators have a defined sacral and a defined throat. Manifesting generators are the loudest people ever. They are loud with their voice, they are loud with their actions, they are the people who are always in a whirlwind, getting things started, manifester, just as much as they're pursuing what they love, generator. These people are the larger than life people. When manifesting generators are moving through life, they are here to both follow their gut reactions, like generators, but it's more about the ideas that pop into their head, right? Their strategy, because they have that defined sacral center, is the same as generators. So manifesting generators are here as well, to respond to that gut feeling. Yes, Jane, if you were a manifesting generator, your type would say, manifesting generator. Yes. So manifesting generators really are a blend of manifestors and generators. So if you have this excitement, this gut urge to start a new project, just tell people about it. That'll help them help you, right? So we talked about manifestors, who are 9% of the population, generators about 37%, manifesting generators are about 33%. Now we have projectors. Projectors make up about 20% of the population. Jacqui, for manifestors, it's all about the throat center. And so, total transparency, guys, I am not an expert on human design. It's just been something that I've been playing with for a few years, and I'm very interested in it. So what I understand about manifestors, they do have the defined throat center, but it needs to be connected to a motor center, which that's where the extent of my knowledge stops on that one. Christian says, I'm a not so loud manifesting generator. And you know what? As I was saying this out loud, I was thinking of one of my friends who's not so loud. But do you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, or you're always like starting new things while you're still following through on other things? I know a handful of manifesting generators. Some of them are extremely just bleh, and some of them are kind of a little bit. So projectors, 20% of the population. Y'all are the wise ones. Projectors are here to guide and lead others throughout this life. Projectors are known as, like, if life was a play, life is a play, Shakespeare. If life was a play, the projectors would be the directors, just overseeing everything, pointing people to where their easiest path is. I don't want to say their best or where they should, because those words don't resonate. But yeah, just guiding others along their way, objectively listening to what others have to say and giving them some gentle advice, just leading them, not pushing them. Some great jobs for projectors would be teachers, consultants, architects, just anything where you're guiding others down their path, maybe even a therapist for projectors, coaches. Bernie, sorry I just logged on. How do I find out which one I am? So you can look up your, thank you Jackie, you can look up your human design chart on Jovian Archive or My Body Graph. Projectors work well with flexible schedules because projectors do not have a defined sacral center. Projectors do not have a constant access to energy, right? This would also impact manifestors, and if you happen to be a reflector as well. We don't have that constant source of energy coming in all of the time. So projectors, if you need to sit down, manifestors also, if you need to take a break in the middle of your day, honor yourself, take that break. There's a reason why you are depleted of energy. It's okay to sit down and build that back up. Every source that I ever look at for human design, projectors are always the ones that said, the internet will say, like, go take a nap. Like, projectors really need to take their naps. So if you are a projector and you've been denying yourself of those midday naps, here's your permission to go take a nap. And we'll talk about the energy centers after I talk about reflectors. However, projectors, your strategy, so the way that will lead you through your life in the most effective way, is to wait for the invitation. So if your goal is to guide others, maybe hold back on that unsolicited advice. Maybe only respond, right? Give the advice when you're invited to do so. So when people come to you and ask for guidance, when people come to you and ask for your opinion, ask to be led, that's like your time to shine. Like, whoa, I can, kind of lighten you up. Let's see. We'll talk about energy centers and all that stuff in a second. Been fighting an urge to nap. All right, so we also have reflectors. Reflectors, I don't know if you guys have been adding up all the percentages of everything, but reflectors make up 1% of the population. I personally have never come across a reflector that I know of. So again, I don't know much about reflectors because I've never been in contact with one of them. Which energy centers is defined for a projector? Sorry if I missed again. I didn't say that, Jackie, because I'm not totally sure. So there are, in human design, there are motor centers and there are a different type of center. And I believe that for a projector, none of your motor centers are defined. I think that's what it is, but I'm not 100% sure. Reflectors make up 1% of the population. If you are a reflector, just let me know in the chat because I'm really excited to meet you. Reflectors are here to reflect the energy of the rest of us. So if reflectors walk into the room, they kind of feel it out, and if there's a good vibe going on in the room, they reflect back to you that there's good energy in the room just by them being themselves. Reflectors have 0 defined centers. All of their energy centers are open. So if you are a reflector, this is just an example of what the energy centers look like, but your chart would look like this. Everything would be white and open. Daniela is a reflector. Hello, Daniela. Very nice to meet you. You're the first I've ever been in contact with. We'll talk about this more when we talk about the energy centers. However, when you do have open energy centers, as reflectors have all of their energy centers open, you are constantly borrowing from the energies of others. So it's not that you're not yourself, it's just that your motivation, your thoughts, your fears, your energy is borrowed when you're around a certain type of people, if that makes sense. Jen, yes, if I had an incorrect birth time for my husband, would he be placed in the wrong type category? I haven't played around exactly with what the time does to the human design chart, but yes, if the time was incorrect, something's going to be off about it, so I would redo the chart. So the reflectors' goal, the purpose of reflectors here in our lives is to take in the energy of others as they do, amplify it, and reflect it back to us. I suspect that I'm a reflector. Interesting, Victor. The strategy for reflectors is to wait 28 days. Wait a lunar cycle. My understanding is that reflectors are governed by the moon. Like, you are the moon children here on this world. You are very swayed by the energies of the moon. So if something comes up and you need to make a decision, wait that entire lunar cycle before making the decision about how to move forward. I wish I had more information about reflectors, but Daniela was literally the first one. Yeah. If you'd like to get together, Daniela, or anyone else, for an astrology chart reading, I'd be very interested just to see what you've got going on. My personal website is on my Insight Timer profile, so if you want to connect with me for any of my services, which will be 50% off next week and the week after. Everything is 50% off for the last 2 weeks of December. So, all right, let's talk about energy centers. So as we were talking about with reflectors, all of their energy centers are open. So that means that they are borrowing that type of energy from whoever they are around. All right, so we have, actually, can you guys see it if it's over here? Maybe. On the very top, we have your head center. It can also be called the crown center, and this is where your inspiration and ideas come from. Let me take a step back. If these centers are filled in with any color, that means that you have them defined. That means that you have a constant stream of energy, of that type of energy within yourself. It means that you have constant access to that type of energy on yourself. Sounds good, Daniela. And you guys can always watch the replay of my things on YouTube as well. Christine, is it like a zodiac where you have a main design and a subordinate design? Yes. I don't know if we're going to get that far today. So, Jen, all of these 9 geometric shapes are energy centers. So we all have 9 energy centers, and then depending on your specific chart, some of the energy centers are defined, filled in, and some of them are blank, so they are undefined. So the head center, also called the crown center at the very top, that governs your inspiration and your ideas. Transparency again, guys, there's like 3 energy centers that I'm really familiar with, so I'll give you what I have with those 3. So the head center, right? If it is defined, most of the ideas that come into your mind are your own. So that's cool. Act on them, right? If you have an open head center, that means that you get your ideas by observing what others are doing, by just paying attention to how the world has worked for others, taking advice, like making your own advice based off of what you've observed about others' ideas and turning it into your own internal guidance. Does that make sense? Also, the way that I've learned about these energy centers have to do with running a business. So essentially, and I'll say it how I learned it, and maybe you can translate it for yourself, but if you have an open head center, your ideas will be like tweaked ideas that you've picked up about other people. So it's kind of like borrowing ideas, but making them your own, putting your own unique flair and twist on them. Okay. Then, next one down is your throat center. Your Anja center. Anja has to do with data processing, storage, and conceptualization. Not gonna lie, guys, that's all the information I have about the Anja Center. I don't have a good understanding about the Anja, but it sounds like memory to me. It's data processing, storage, and conceptualization. All right, then we're coming down to the throat center. This has to do with those manifestors. This is about communication, manifestation, and speaking. Okay, so I do know more about the throat chakra than I thought. If you have a defined throat chakra, there's a good chance that once you are speaking about a topic that you are passionate about or that you know about, you can ramble on forever. I wonder if Jacqui Mancuso has a defined throat chakra. If you have an undefined throat chakra, there are times that you might feel like blabbing and blabbing, and that could be because you're around people who have a defined throat center that you're borrowing that energy from. Or there could be times, if you have an undefined throat chakra, that you just have nothing to say and you don't want to say anything at all. Why are there different colors, Jacqui? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sorry. Then, coming down, you have your G center, and this is also called the self center in other, I don't know why there's so many different names, but some of them have a lot of different names. The G center has to do with direction and love. Again, that's all I have for the G center. And then after that, you're down here to the side. This is either called your heart center, your will center, or your ego center. That center governs your ego, your value, and your willpower. Interesting. So I might be wrong about this, but this was just an intuitive thought. If that governs your willpower, I would say if it's defined, then you're pretty good at limiting yourself, right? You're pretty good at pushing yourself to be responsible and those types of things. And if that is undefined, you might need to be near people who have the defined will center in order for you to have that willpower to do what you need to do, right? Christine says the Anja center is where your intuition lies. Thank you, Christine. Jacqui, yes. By defined, do you mean it has color? Yes. So defined, it doesn't matter what color, but defined are all the ones that are colored in. Undefined or open is when they're white, no color. All right, so moving over to the spleen center. Oops, got a glare there. The spleen center. This is what governs your health. This governs time. This is said to govern your intuition and also your immune system. I believe, and I could be wrong on this, I think the spleen center is where your fears come from. So if you have an open spleen, that could mean that some of the things that you worry about are because of the people around you, your environment. That's just a quick little thing that I picked up. You have your solar plexus center down here. This governs your emotions. That's all I have to say about that. Then we have this ever so powerful sacral center. If this one is colored in on your chart, the second from the bottom, that means that you are a generator of some type. The sacral center is where your life force energy comes from, your workforce energy, and the sacral center also defines your sexuality. So let me give a personal example of how the sacral center works. I'm a manifester, undefined sacral. I do not have constant access to energy. My husband, thankfully, is a generator. He has a defined sacral center. This is something that I've noticed, but it made more sense when I learned about the human design. So I work from home. I'm home by myself all day with the dogs, and I have motivation when I need it, right? But I like to sit down every once in a while because I'm just kind of kaput. When he comes home from work, I just pick up on his, it's like his sacral center is defined and it's like pouring out energy all around. And as soon as he comes home, I just have a little bit more motivation to physically do things. And it's amplified even more when we have more people in the house. So when his friends come over and they're, doing their housework, whatever, it's just what's that word? Contagious. When people with undefined sacral centers can be around people who do have defined sacral centers, it's kind of it's like stealing. So, if you do have an undefined sacral center, I caution you to not rely on those people who have their defined sacrals. It's okay every once in a while if you just need a pick-me-up, if you need a little boost of energy, but it is up to you to learn how to work with your design for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Jen, sounds like an efficient relationship. But the shadow side of it is that if he wants to come home and take a break, which is rare, but if he wants to come home and just sit down and do nothing, guess what I'm doing that night? It takes a lot for me to still get up and do stuff if he is kaput for the day. Christine, sacral is also creative energy. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Christine. And then at the very bottom, you have your root center. The root center works with adrenaline and stress. So what I've also learned about the root center is that if you do have a defined root center, you're pretty good at making your own deadlines. It's a pressure center, so you're pretty good at putting a little bit of that pressure on yourself to get things done in an efficient time. If you have an undefined root center, it's more common that you would need some coaching from others you would need someone else to say you got to get this done by this day, is my understanding about all this. So those were the energy centers. I did notice that someone mentioned that they're a generator, but they often feel a lack of energy. That could be that you are just not doing what lights you up. It may feel like you have a lower amount of energy because you're not forcing yourself, but you're doing, what you're not super passionate about. Remember that generators are here to wait to respond. Yeah, wait to respond to that gut feeling. So if you're using your energy to just drudge through life and do what you need to do, you're not going to have that giddy childlike, ooh, yes, this is what I want to be working on. So when you're able to submerge yourself into something that you really have passion about, something that you really enjoy doing, that's when your energy is going to expand and go in all directions. If you are not defined at the root, do you need to ground more? That's a really good question, Doug, and that would make sense. That would make logical sense. Christine says root energy is very grounded energy too, so I would say then that's a good idea, Doug. Great intuition. Mel, yes, if I get excited, then I do have the energy. Yeah, which, yeah. Yeah. And you have an undefined root. So we have a few minutes. I do want to get out of here by the hour mark, so we have maybe about 10 minutes left. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers. So we all have two numbers that make up, where is it on this chart? Our profile. So this person, it shows down here, the profile is a 5-1. So it's going to be a combination of two numbers between 1 and 6. It's been explained to me before that the first three numbers, so if you have a number 1, 2, or 3 in your profile, that describes how you intake information. And if you have a 4, 5, or 6, the last three numbers, that describes more of how you output information. So there are people, like Mel is a 1-3, there's also, there's energy, or there's profiles that are either 2 of the lower numbers or 2 of the higher numbers. I've never found information on this, but my intuition tells me that either if you have 2, if you, like you're of a 1-3, your purpose here is to intake. Like that's just, you have different ways of intaking information. If you are a 4-6 or anything between 4, 5, and 6, if both of your numbers are the higher numbers, you have different ways of outputting information. You're here to be that teacher. You're here to just let your stuff unleash into the world, right? A little bit of this information that I'm about to read comes from puregenerators.com. I just want to give credit to where I'm taking these things from. And this is how the profile lines start their projects. So I guess you could say, we have a lot of 1-3s in here. I guess you could say that your profile numbers define how you start your projects. If you have a 1 in your profile, the 1 is the investigator. Where do I find the numbers? Oh, also, okay, thanks for bringing that up, Alicia. So here, and this one is from my body graph. You can look at the bottom where it says profile, and then it'll give you the titles of your numbers and then also the numbers right here. However, if you don't have this part of your chart, if you just have the body graph, what you can look at, let me double check it, yes. So what you can look at, I'm trying to be all fancy and it's not working. If you come up to your Earth center, so the very top, you'll see it ends in a point something. So this one ends in a 0.5, and then here it ends in a 0.1. So that's another way that you can tell this person is a 5-1, if that makes sense. See you later, Anik. Nice to see you. Jackie's a 5-2, Bonnie's a 4-6, Jackie's a 5-1. I'm not going to tell you guys what I am. I want to see if y'all can guess. So ones, if you have a 1 line, the 1 line is the line of the investigator. How do you start a project? If you have a 1 line, you do enough research so that you feel solid. So intaking that information until you feel like you have a solid base, then you start the project. Okay. If you have a 2 line, you are considered the hermit. How do you start your projects? You play with some ideas in secret until you've found something that feels right. So 2 line, hermit, you do some things in, keep it secret for a little bit. There's your hermit sense. Once it feels right, then, okay, I'm going to start this project. Do a little self-investigation. If you are a 3, or if you have a 3 line, you are considered the martyr. How do you start a project? You start small. You get the first iteration out there. Why did I write that? Start small and get the first iteration out there. It's not precious, that's right. So if you have a 3 line, you could feel like your projects are not going to be good enough. So there's a good chance that you aren't putting anything out because you'd rather have perfection than anything. However, in order to truly live your design, if you have a 3 line, start small, just get that first little bit out there. It'll grow. You'll be okay. Number 4, if you have a 4 line in your profile, how do you start projects? Oh, you're an opportunist. Sorry, 4s are considered the opportunist. How do you start projects? Talk it through with your community, clients, and confidants, right? So get some feedback from other people to start your project. If you are a number 5, if you have a 5 in your profile, you are considered a heretic. How do you start your project is that you trust your judgment. So I don't know if you guys have picked up on my smaller vocabulary. So I didn't know what a heretic was, and I had to look up the definition, and then I had to laugh. And I might give away what one of my lines is right here, but a heretic is a person who holds controversial opinions, especially one who publicly dissents from the officially accepted dogma of the Roman Catholic Church. And a heretic is also one who holds and persistently maintains an opinion or a doctrine at variance with the accepted standards of any school or party, and rejected or condemned by it. One who rejects a generally accepted belief. So if you have a 5 in your profile, there's a good chance that you're a little bit of a rebel in some ways, and trust your judgment. That's how you get started on things. You don't do things as everyone else does. Trust your judgment and go with it. If you have a 6 line in your profile, you are the role model. Okay, and how do you start your projects? You sit with it for a while as you view all sides. So if you have a 6 line in your profile, it's okay to mull things over, and it's good for you to see things from all perspectives. Try to get out of your linear way of thinking and look from all perspectives. Heretic, thank you, Bonnie. Thanks, Mom. Lucy, yep, 5'2", and I'm a rebel. Yeah, 3'5", martyr, heretic. Thank you, guys. If you have a 6 line in your profile as well, again, here's my base knowledge. From my understanding, there's like a way of doing, what is it? Yeah, I believe it's like a way of acting that is with you from birth to age 30, and then from 30 on, I don't know if it's from 30 to 60, like if you change again at 60, but usually at that 30-year mark, if you have a 6 line in your profile, you kind of swap your way of doing things. You kind of become a different person. Like you mature a lot at age 30 is what I've heard. Christine. Yep, that's me, all right, 6'2". Hello, Carolyn. We literally just finished what I had to say about the human design, but this will go up on my YouTube channel. So just search my name, Jacqui Mancuso, on YouTube, and you can review this basic intro course of the human design. I know that it was a lot of information. Type 6, Bonnie, is the role model. The role model. Before you end, could you share one way learning about all this has really helped you? Absolutely, Carolyn. Thank you so much for asking. There's actually a lot more that I learned that I haven't gotten into the details about today, but let me sit with that for a second. And I guess, so the biggest thing, all right, so I'm a manifestor. I'm a 5-1. So what was the one line about the investigator? Oh, getting all the information before you start the project. I always make notes before I come here on Insight Timer just to like get that feeling of groundedness. And I'm a heretic. Am I saying that right again, Bonnie? You're gonna have to remind me later. The first thing that I learned about being a 5-1 was that our aura is closed. So people don't necessarily see me when they see me. I was told that I have like a mirror-like aura. So whatever you see in me is what you hold inside of yourself. Like I I talk about that all the time here, like that's just a general rule of life, but I believe it is because the aura of the 5-1 is like a mirror. Yeah. So if you really like me, that means you really like yourself. Or if you really don't like certain things about me, you really don't like yourself. And what's interesting too is being a 5-1, I'll listen to other people about human design, and oftentimes I'm like, there's one thing about them that just irks me. Like, there's one part about their personality that I'm like, ugh. And then they say that they're a 5-1, and I'm like, damn it. It's probably because I'm seeing myself in them, you know what I mean? And then learning my strategy was also a huge aha for me in human design. So being a manifestor, my strategy is to inform. Years ago, when I was first told your strategy is to inform, my first reaction was, man, I hate talking about myself. You know, I don't want to talk up what I'm doing. Like, that feels odd to me. It feels off. But then that like challenged me to practice that skill. It challenged me to grow into my human design, right? And now I'm at this place that I wasn't years ago. I'm okay saying like, hey guys, I'm planning on doing a book study. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'm just letting you know so that when I do have the energy to move forward with that, you're there with me. You know, like I've been prepping you for that for a long time. Little segue, I think about doing my book study all the time. I want to do a book study on A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, and I've been researching to get all the information with my one line down. Yeah, Jacqui's waiting on the Eckhart Tolle book study. And this is where I like blending human design and astrology. I'm comfortable with informing what I'm doing because I know I have the responsibility of being ruled by Saturn, and I know that I have the groundedness of a Taurus to actually deliver what I'm talking about. And this has also been, Victor, I found at least 2 human design teachers to be totally obnoxious. That's funny. Aw, thanks, Victor. Shoot, what was I saying? Because I liked what I was saying. Ooh. Oh, this also challenged me to only inform of what I'm sure that I'm going to do. So, yeah, things like that. Groundedness of Taurus. Yes. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Carolyn, for asking the question. I'm learning to love talking about myself, and I'll take any opportunity, so thanks, guys, for listening. If you've enjoyed today's session, if you'd like to offer an energy exchange for the knowledge, for the insights, whatnot, donations are always appreciated, but never expected. Never, never. Thank you, Jacqui. I don't know if I said that when it came through. I will be putting this on my YouTube channel. I am trying to run out of here because there's a session on Wednesday mornings with Katrina Boss, by the way. She does ecstatic dance. So I'm about to hop over there if you want to join. But yeah, I will be back next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. I know it's weird. It's a Tuesday. Beautiful. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to hop off. Come dance with us with Katrina Boss if you want. Love to all. Thanks for being here. Namaste. Dancing has commenced. Gotta go. Bye, guys. Love you.